And super pleased to have with me in the studio Jaime Harrison. He's the DNC Associate Chair and Senior Counsel. He's the former chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party.
Yes.
A member of the Democratic Party leadership, and your principal focus is the DNC's Red State Strategy. Democrats.org is the website. People can tweet you at Harrison Jaime, Jaime, right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, great. Jaime, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be on.
So we've had, just in the last couple of days, we've had a couple of significant Democratic victories, and they add to a whole long string of Democratic victories. This gets very little publicity in the corporate media, it seems. So tell us what's going on. This is like good news stuff.
Yes, and this is grassroots stuff. The things that, fundamental politics is on the grassroots level. It's in the parties for these state house races, for state senate races. And if you take a look at some of the last 8 races that have taken place, Democrats have won. And we've won in districts that Donald Trump won during the presidential election. And so we are overjoyed at the success. Just last night in Florida, also a victory in New Hampshire, significant wins in red areas. And we're making a lot of traction.
To what do you attribute those victories?
Well, one, I think great leadership. I think there's so much activity going on the local level. You're starting to see the Democratic Party and then all of the affiliate groups, progressive groups that are out there, from the indivisible groups to our revolution, all working together in order to change the leadership on the local level. And it's amazing to see that type of coordination.
By change leadership, you're talking about leadership of the Democratic
Party?
Republicans,
changing from Republicans in the legislature to Democratic.
Yeah, okay, on a state-by-state basis.
On a state-by-state basis.
So is that in essence the red state strategy? Just, we're just going to, because you had Howard Dean with his 50-state strategy, and then after Dean left, it became we're going to only throw our money in where we think it's actually going to work, or at least it seemed that way for a while. Is this kind of a return to that?
Well, it's a return to the 50-state strategy, but I like to say it's 50 states plus the territories, all on steroids. In essence, we are increasing the amount of money that the DNC sends to state parties starting in October. That is going up to $10,000 a month to every state in the country, which is unprecedented. And it will be for a state like Alabama that has a Senate race that is coming up, a special election in December. It is going to be godsend. They have $10,000 that they can use to hire staff, to put boots on the ground, to reach out to the community. In addition to that, and this is the steroids part of it, in addition to that, we have created a special fund that we are calling a SPIF Fund, Innovation, so that it's going to have $10 million in it. And every state in the country will get an opportunity to apply for a grant through that fund in order to do something special that they're thinking about that helps them win elections. And so, again, unprecedented amount of investment in state parties. We're really excited about it. I'm going across the country, particularly to a lot of red states, doing assessments, helping those state parties, SWOT assessments, identify what their strengths, their weaknesses, opportunities, and the challenges that they have going forward. And so we're really excited about it. We're excited about all of the energy that's happening on the local level because we know that the potential is there. We just need to make sure that all of the X's and O's are there for state parties in 2018 to really demonstrate that this is a new Democratic Party, that we're back on the right track, and we're ready to change the leadership.
It seems to me that $10 million in your fund, $10,000 per state. This is what the Koch network would spend for lunch. I mean, in a fancy resort. I'm not even joking, actually. If they pull together 300 billionaires for a fancy resort, it could easily cost that. And yet, Democrats have been winning against Koch candidates for some time. Even when we're massively outspent. Not always, and, the John Ossoff case, was a challenge. Of course, there's other things there. Karen Handel had been purging the voter rolls in that county for quite
years.
Some time, yeah. So that's, in fact, that's worthy of a conversation, too. But it seems that the historic focus of the DNC, or at least during the Clinton years, the historic focus of the DNC was, we are a money machine. We're about raising money and distributing it to the local candidates. What we're learning is, at least from where I'm sitting, how it looks, is that, money's a useful thing. And of course, you want to run ads, and you'd have to pay for your infrastructure and stuff like that, which you're talking about doing, but getting people on the ground. But really, what we need is people. We need people woke. We need people active. We need people out there on the streets. We need people going door to door. We need people talking to their friends on Facebook and Twitter. We need people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Is that the new, essentially, focus of the DNC?
The focus, first and foremost, has to be on infrastructure. Because it's great. There's so many people who are active, and there's so many people who want to be involved. But if you don't have a structure, a conduit in order to harness that energy so that they can give direction, you can have thousands of people knocking on doors. But if they're knocking on the wrong doors, if they're knocking on Republican doors or doing things that are not organized and structured, then it's sort of wasted energy. So the number one thing that we have to do first and foremost, and I know people are saying, well, the message and all, even before you get to that point, if the mechanism by which you reach voters, which is state parties and those local party organizations, if that mechanism is broken, it doesn't matter if you have the best message in the world, it doesn't matter if you have thousands of volunteers, then you won't get the message that you need to the people who need to get the message. You won't get them activated and to the polls. And so our first focus in these few months as we lead into 2018 is let's get our state parties back on track. Let's make sure that they're strong, that they understand what their weaknesses are, what their challenges are, and how they have a game plan to fix that. So let's invest the money, let's invest the resources to get them to that point. Then let's look at the message and make sure that the message fits the state and the culture in which they're in. And then let's make sure we have great candidates that can amplify that message. And so it's a methodical, step-by-step process. And you're right, we're going to get outgunned by the Republicans in terms of money. But it's important that people understand that this is a new DNC that is being very methodical about how we build it. And so that in the end of the day, we can replicate what Howard Dean did so successfully in 2006 and what Howard Dean and Barack Obama did in 2008, which is win Congress, win governorships, then take back the White House.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Back in 2000, I think it was around 2008, when the Republicans decided that they were going to do this massive redistricting thing all across the country, ultimately leading even to possibly a constitutional convention to rewrite the Constitution, maybe just for rich people or something. And I say that not facetiously, actually. There was an organization, and I want to say it was the Concord Coalition, but it was Concord something. I don't think it was Coalition, but it was this group that put together a bunch of Concord Project. Thank you, Troy. You can see their video. You can watch their videos on YouTube. I played a bunch of them on this program. And basically this guy, these little 3-4 minute videos that were delivered to hundreds of thousands of Tea Partiers, right? And this was all under the radar. And I never, ever saw a conversation about this on TV. And the guy's looking right into the camera and he says, you know what the most powerful political office in the United States is? It's not the president. It's not the Senate. It's not even the head of the Supreme Court. It's precinct committee person, precinct committee chair. Because if you're a member of the precinct committee, if you're one of the leaders of your local Democratic Party, A, you get to write the platform, and B, you get to help pick out who's going to be the primary candidates. And so if we can have, say we're going to have 5 primary candidates in this particular area, and we want all of them to be Tea Partiers, so it doesn't matter which one everybody votes for. It's going to be a Tea Party.
It's going to be a Tea Party.
So this was a very, very successful campaign that they did, and those videos were very, very effective. And I've been trying to replicate that, or just and I can't tell you how many people have called this program over the. I mean, I've been ranting about this since 2008. Have called this program and said, I have become a precinct committee person as a result of your suggestion. Any suggestions for people who want to show up at their local Democratic Party and get involved? Sometimes, people call in and say, I was welcomed with open arms. Other times they say, it was a bunch of crotchety old guys who thought that, that I was, just a young whippersnapper and a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Well, listen, there are so many opportunities on a state level and precinct level to get involved in your Democratic Party, and it's important that you do so. And even when you run into a roadblock, continue to push, because sometimes, it happens in any organization. You get folks who have been controlling things for a number of years, and they don't like newcomers, and they don't like to let go of the control. But the bottom line, it's not about us. It's not about our egos. It's not about our personalities. This is about the future of our country. I have a 3-year-old son at home. And each and every day I help him get dressed and go to school, and I think about the world that he lives in. And so whenever I run up into these people who, well, this is the way we've done it for years, I say to them, you know what? Yeah, and look as what we have as a result. Yeah. We have a president who is unhinged. This is unprecedented. And so therefore, there's unprecedented actions that we all have to take in order to change this. And that means everybody has to have a part of moving us forward, making us a better party, a stronger party, so that we can reach those people who, in the end of the day, feel like neither party is addressing the issues that they're
show up and become the party.
Exactly right.
Amen. Jaime Harrison, DNC Associate Chair and Senior Counsel. Hang on just a second.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
Site is Democrats.org, and you can tweet him at Harrison Jaime, Jaime. Jaime, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great having you.
Thank you.